Hello my beautiful ninjas and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all having an awesome day. If this is the first time that you're watching a video from me, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy and that you stay and you join the team and you become one of my ninjas. And of course, if you are just returning as a subscriber already, thank you so much for doing so. I do plan on doing a giveaway pretty soon, so make sure that you guys stay tuned for that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. As you guys can tell by the title, I am going to share with you guys just a few things that I think are really important if you are looking to just combat frizz. If you're someone that naturally has very frizzy hair, or if you're basically wanting to lengthen the time for like the styles that you're doing on your natural hair as well. So as you guys can tell, I am in a protective style in this point in time because I needed a little bit of a break. I think that I'm going to probably straighten my hair I don't know when. It's like I keep going back and forth, like, do I want to straighten it? Do I not want to straighten it? Do I want to straighten it? Do I not want to straighten it? I haven't put really heat in my hair for a while now. It's probably since like May. And I've been doing like more protective styles and things like that just kind of like embrace and love my natural hair in its natural state and to allow it to do its thing. So I've definitely seen the benefits of it because I've definitely been more consistent with deep conditioning as well. But I kind of want to straighten my hair, so we'll see. You might see my hair straight in the next video, you might not. I don't know yet. But we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Sorry for the long intro. So I do have some notes written down on my phone, so I just wanted to go ahead and jump right into it. So of course we're talking about ways to combat frizz. Now obviously if you're someone that has naturally frizzy hair, some of the tips may work for you, some tips may not necessarily work for you. It really just depends on what you're comfortable using on your hair, as well as what your main concerns are and things like that. So the first thing that definitely applies to all of us is water. Not only just the water that you obviously keeping your hair moisturized, but of course what you put inside of your body will definitely show and reflect itself on the outside of your body. So if you want your hair to grow, if you want your hair to be stronger, if you want your hair to be less frizzy, water is extremely important. So making sure that you intake a lot of water throughout the day. Just make sure that you just continue to just be healthy and just continuing to drink a lot more water, and of course obviously applying more water to your hair as well. So obviously I would not recommend that you wash your hair, especially with shampoo, on a weekly basis. Of course it depends on your hair type and what you're comfortable with your hair, but of course just making sure that you do apply water to your hair. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the middle of a style just spritzing your hair down with water, although you can do it, especially when you're doing like a wash and go or something like that. But just making sure that you're using products that have pretty much water as the first ingredient, because if it's water based, it will continue to keep your hair very hydrated and moisturized, which will basically combat the frizz or just stop it before it actually starts. So hopefully that makes sense. Obviously make sure that you're using water based products on your hair to kind of like refresh your styles. And then of course making sure that you're intaking a lot of water as well, because if your body is hydrated, it will reflect on your skin, your hair, your nails, so on and so forth. So making sure that water is the most important thing that you do in this, in trying to combat the frizz as well. So that's tip number one. The second tip that I want to mention as well to you when it comes to obviously keeping or combating your frizz or just stopping it before it starts, of course a lot of it does start with the way that you treat your hair. So the first thing that I want to mention to you guys is of course deep conditioning. Like I mentioned, I've been a lot more consistent with deep conditioning and using a lot of deep conditioners that are more moisturizing for my hair, because natural hair needs as much moisture as it possibly can get, and that's how your styles will last a lot longer. And then of course it will help to combat the frizz as well. So deep conditioning is extremely important. I've talked to you guys about some of my favorite deep conditioners before, but I do plan on doing another video sharing with you guys my top favorite drugstore deep conditioners, as well as my top favorite high-end deep conditioners. So make sure that you guys subscribe for that if you guys are interested in finding out what my favorites are, or just my thoughts and opinions on some of the ones that you can also find at your local drugstore. But deep conditioning is really important. I've definitely seen a significant difference in my hair and just the manageability of my hair, the natural luster and shine of my hair, and just overall my hair is a lot healthier because it is more moisturized. Of course I never really shampooed my hair weekly, but I feel like now that I'm doing more co-washing and just deep conditioning my hair, and I've never really been somebody that kind of like had my hands in my hair all the time. I've always done protective styling, whether it's twists like this on my own hair or like, you know, braids and all types of different protective styles for the most part. So I definitely think that just the fact that I'm not manipulating my hair so much, as well as adding deep conditioning consistently on a weekly basis to my routine, it's definitely, like I said, just helped my hair. And I really noticed as well that not only is it that it helps to smooth out your hair cuticles, but it makes it more manageable for you to, you know, on wash day and things like that. But then also it does eventually smooth the hair cuticles so that you don't have or experience as much frizz as you would if you did not deep condition your hair. So moisture is extremely important in this case, and deep conditioning is what your hair really needs. As often as you want to, it doesn't have to be weekly, you can do it bi-weekly, but just making sure that you're consistent with deep conditioning will help to, like I said, combat the frizz, also help your hair to last a lot longer. And then of course, when it comes to adding that moisture in your hair, it does smooth the hair cuticles, so before you go in for styling, you don't have to necessarily worry too much about your hair being frizzy once it dries. Hopefully that makes sense. So the second tip is, of course, be consistent with deep conditioning. The third tip that I want to mention to you guys is going to be pretty much hot oil treatments as well as apple cider vinegar rinses. I'm just going to put them in the same category because they pretty much essentially do the same thing. So of course, with an apple cider vinegar rinse, I've showed you guys, I did do a video showing you guys how I do it. It's pretty simple, but of course, if you're interested in watching something like that, I'll make sure to leave the link down below, as well as the card will come out over here as well, so you guys can check that out. But apple cider vinegar rinses is definitely important, and of course hot oil treatments are important as well, because that's what's going to help to not only keep the moisture in your hair, but doing things like that on a consistent basis. Obviously I don't do this all the time, but I think that doing it enough on a consistent basis is definitely what's going to help to kind of balance out your hair's pH, so it brings it to the level that it should be at, which makes it a lot easier for all your other products to be penetrated into your hair, which of course if your other products are well penetrated, then it's going to give the moisture that you need, and obviously it's going to smooth the hair, which means that it will stop the frizz before it starts. So making sure that you do the apple cider vinegar rinse at least once a month, as well as the hot oil treatments as well at least once a month. I think that that's definitely going to help to change the you know, the kind of like the texture of your hair, as well as just the manageability of it, because it brings your hair back to its natural pH level. So of course I will go ahead and leave the link to the apple cider vinegar rinse down below. I haven't done a hot oil treatment video yet, but I'll go ahead and work on that, especially when I take out my hair. I'll probably do a hot oil treatment if I decide to straighten my hair, so I'll make sure to record that for you guys if I do plan on doing that. So that's going to be the third tip, which is apple cider vinegar rinses once a month, and hot oil treatments as well once a month. That would definitely help to transition your hair. The next okay, yeah, so the next two tips that I want to mention to you guys, one of them is not the most conventional, it's not the healthiest tip, I guess you can say, but the next tip that I want to mention to you guys is basically gel, just hair gel. Now, I'm not telling you to continuously use gel in your hair, because obviously all of that can have product buildup. A lot of these gels have alcohol in them, so they can dry out your hair, but just making sure that you're smart about how much you're using or how often you use them. But gel is a great way to combat frizz. If you're doing a style like a wash and go, or if you're doing twist out, if you're doing a braid out, whatever the case may be, gel is not necessary, not for me, because I'm okay with frizz. But at the same time, I feel like gel is another way to just smooth out the hair so that it looks neater and nicer for a longer period of time. So it definitely helps to smooth out the hair, so you don't have to worry too much about having too much frizz, especially if you're doing a protective style. Obviously with these twists, I did not use any gel to do these twists. I did put a little bit of gel on like my edges or something like that, but to actually put them in, I did not use any gel. You guys probably have seen that video as well. If you didn't, I'll make sure to put the card out here as well, just to show you guys exactly what product I use. But it's pretty much the OGX Moroccan oil curling Perfecting Cream, I think it's called. I'll make sure to leave the card, like I said, up here, but it's one of my favorites. I've mentioned that cream to you guys before, but that's the only thing that I use besides water to actually put these twists in my hair. And like I mentioned, I'm not really like anal when it comes to frizz. I'm okay with a little bit of frizz. I feel like it's natural, but at the same time, if you're not really someone that wants too much frizz, there are a lot of really great gels out there, especially if you're doing like a wash and go or a protective style, that will help to kind of tame that frizz for you. So it's not the most conventional tip, but it is something that will help if you don't mind using gel. I would just say don't use it too often, because a lot of times a lot of the ingredients in those gels can, you know, of course, create product buildup, and it can do the opposite. It can dry out the hair instead of keeping your hair moisturized. So just be mindful of that pretty much. So that's going to be pretty much the fourth tip. And then the last tip that I want to mention to you guys is probably going to be your saving grace when it comes to just frizz in general. And I think that is, besides water, besides water and deep conditioning, this is pretty much my favorite tip. So this tip is going to be basically using oils and serums. Listen, okay, oils and serums are going to be your best friend. Not only because of the fact that they obviously put back the moisture in your hair, but it gives your hair a natural shine, it gives your hair a natural luster, and it just definitely helps to kind of like tame the frizz so that your styles can last a lot longer and they just look very fresh and nice. So oils and serums are definitely one that I would definitely recommend that you invest in. You don't have to get anything high end, you really don't. There's a lot of really great drugstore serums that you can purchase. There's a spray oil that I use from OGX. There's like different ones, like the coconut oil one, there's a kukui oil one, there's a jojoba oil one, I think, by OGX. Their spray oils are really, really nice. They're very lightweight, they're water-based oils, but they're not too much water to where it's going to revert your hair or anything like that. It's just going to add natural moisture and shine to your hair. So they're a really great option that you can look into. And then there's the Paul Mitchell, Jesus, what's the name of it? Paul Mitchell, I think Skinny Smoothing Serum, I think it is. That one's really good as well. It's a little bit of it's like more of a serum than a spray oil, but that one's a little bit of a thicker consistency, but it does an amazing job at just smoothing down the hair. It's not heavy at all. It's like a thicker consistency, but it's not heavy. I don't even know how that works, but it just feels very nice and it smells amazing too. And then besides that, I think there's another oil that I use. I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But of course, you can use anything like coconut oil, jojoba oil, tea tree oil. There's a lot of different oils that you can look into that will help to not only, like I said, add the moisture back into your hair, but adds a natural shine and luster to your hair as well. So of course, oils will help in the manageability of your hair, because if your hair is moisturized and hydrated, it will always be more manageable, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much the last tip that I wanted to mention to you guys. I just wanted this to be a really like short and sweet video. You guys probably are aware of all of these tips already, but I just wanted to do a video just to kind of like mention this to you guys, just in case you're having issues with your hair, or you're trying to figure out what products to use as well to tame your frizz or to combat your frizz. These are pretty much my highly rated tips, I guess you can say. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you did enjoy this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. And as I mentioned, if you have yet subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting on, you might as well, right? Yes, please. All right, cool. So thank you so much again for tuning in. I hope you guys are all having an awesome day. Thank you again. Be safe, stay blessed, and remember to always treat yourself. Peace out.